What's going on, Jeromes? We are back Tuesday, live stream, daily Jeromes, talking Vikings, talking nonsense. It's a good time. So we were 10 minutes late yesterday because we were doing a video. We're 5 minutes early today because, super sneak attack. A lot of Qs, got some A's. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's dive in. Vinny Villa? Maybe. Did you see Antoine Winfield's tweet? Yeah. Him on the Instagram is hilarious. We did a video about it. I love Antoine Winfield Jr., man. Yeah, and that's always going to be the what if at 31, even though Jeff Gladney is going to be perfectly fine. Tristan D. Imagine a Bucs-Bills Super Bowl, Tom Brady versus old divisional rivals. Bills go 0-5 in Super Bowls. I would love to see it. I would. Because I'm all in on Tom Brady this year. Like, I know that the Bills Mafia has been long suffering, but also, I don't know. I feel like a portion of your fan base are just jerks. So, yeah, just like rubbing it in. Oh, look at Stephon Diggs. Yes, you can cheer for Stephon Diggs. It's great. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that we got Jefferson too. But yeah, and the Chiefs. I don't know. I like the Chiefs. I like Mahomes. I like Andy Reid, but also sort of tired of him. Like, isn't that weird how it always goes? We had the Chiefs, who hadn't won a Super Bowl since Super Bowl IV. And then they finally get it done last year, and now we're sick of them. It's like the Golden State Warrior effect. It's like, next. Even though it's Tom Brady, and also the Bucs won in 2002. Dave Noodle 123. It's not it at all. Noodle 130. Dave Winfield after the 09 Antoine Winfield after the 09 loss. They win. Yeah, that was great, man. Jared Lewis. Despite how Cousins played at the end of the season, if one of the Big Five quarterbacks falls to the Vikings, are you drafting the QB? It will be a tough decision. Now, I put him as a big 4.5 because I'm not completely sold on Mac Jones' tools at the next level, and also the fact that only 18% of his passes went over 20 yards. So, yeah, but I'm betting on the tools of Trey Lance. Zach Wilson is obviously up there. Justin Fields. I have questions. Like, if you have your choice between Fields, Lawrence, and Zach Wilson, I'm probably taking Fields third. But, I mean, that's not to throw shade on him. I think that he is a very solid quarterback prospect. You love the arm. You love the accuracy at times. Pocket awareness, certainly questions about that. But, yeah. Let's hear. Jake Lagovin. I would heavily consider doing it. Because when are you going to be in a position to draft a potential franchise quarterback? Probably not next year, since you're going to be doing some things. And I know there are other draft needs, both lines, safety, maybe even linebacker. Happens with Barr, whatever happens with Barr and Wilson. But sometimes you got to take a shot. Jake Lagovin, video idea to throw in the hopper. Bear with me on this one. Could you do a mock offseason for the Saints? Save them from cap hell. Basically, you just cut everyone. I like it. Shiver Timbers. The Bucs were once in our division, so therefore we basically knocked the Saints out of the playoffs again. I like when people try to bring the college way of thinking to the pros, and what I mean by that is that. So say you're Kansas State. And then maybe, I don't know, Baylor or a team that's in your conference that isn't necessarily like a big rival. So it's not like Kansas State or Texas or Oklahoma, whatever. But if Baylor's in the bowl game, you're like, hey, go Baylor because we want the Big 12 to win. No one thinks that way in the NFL, even though some people want to scale it up. It's like, oh, well, we should root for the Packers to win the Super Bowl because they're in the division. No, never, ever. Never. Thorvald Mount Johnson. Have high-end rotational players, uber-talented gadget players, or players with no primary position ever been the final piece to put a team over the top? Is it worth drafting them in the first round? Well, it wasn't drafted, but, I mean, Percy Harvin with the 2013 Seahawks, even though, I mean, they probably would have won the Super Bowl without Percy. And Percy only played like 2 games that year. One against the Vikings. But in terms of bringing like a high-end gadget guy, yeah, I think I can't think of any historical examples off the top of my head. But basically, you're asking, say, if the Vikings draft Rousseau, who really is sort of positionless on the defensive line. Kyle Pitts, who's like a tight end wide receiver hybrid. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, joke, the linebacker, safety, whatever from Notre Dame. Or like if the Cardinals picking Isaiah Simmons, all of a sudden they vaulted themselves into Super Bowl contention. I get it, but I mean, talent is talent. And all these guys like rotational or gadgety, they're only as rotational and gadgety as their coaching staff will forces them to be. John Anderson TV. I was able to season my steak this morning from all the salt from Saints fans' tears. It was delicious. It was a good video. Go check that out. Rudy Peel. How would you compare each player number one at their position last year to this year's number ones in the draft? All right, let's look. All right. So quarterback one, Joe Burrow against Trevor Lawrence. Well, Burrow was basically a one-hit wonder. Lawrence has been the number one pick for 3 years. He's got a stronger arm. I think Burrow, experience-wise, since he was a redshirt senior, maybe has a slight edge there, but I mean, it's not a whole lot. I mean, I like Joe Burrow a lot. The knee is concerning. Hopefully he comes back 100% from that. Defensive end. So Chase Young, Kwity Paye. Even though Kwity Paye is here, Chase Young is up here. Like, there is no Chase Young in this draft. Okudah. So Okudah had a rough season, but so the Lions as a whole. I still believe in Jeff Okudah, but comparing Okudah to, I don't know, Surtain or Farley or J.C. Horn, just based on college, I would still take Okudah. So Andrew Thomas, left tackle. I was disappointed by Andrew Thomas, man, but I think he was put in a tough situation. I still love me some Andrew Thomas. But in terms of like the top tackles, you had Thomas, you had Becton, who was a question mark, but was a physical freak. Tristan Wirfs, obviously doing huge things at right tackle for the Bucks, as well as Jedrick Wills has been phenomenal. Even though everyone said he'll never turn into a left tackle in the National Football League because he played right tackle in Alabama. Shut up. But Thomas versus Penny Sewell, I mean, there is no comparison. Let's see. Derek Brown against Barmore, Nixon. Derek Brown. I mean, Derek Brown conceivably could have been a top 3 pick. Like, he could have gone easily 3 to the Lions, but the fact that the Panthers just got him, it's whatever. Simmons, I don't really consider Simmons a linebacker. So like Simmons and Owusu-Koramoah. Let's see. Wide receiver, Ruggs. So Ruggs versus Chase, Smith, and Waddle. It's not close. It's really not close. Let's see. Well, they got Chase on list as a linebacker. Not really. I mean, Kenneth Murray is like the first real linebacker, and him and Micah Parsons, that's no comparison. Ruiz, first interior offensive lineman, versus, I don't know, I guess if you see Slater as a guard, Slater's above Caesar, even though I like Caesar. Hail Caesar. First safety off the board was Xavier McKinney. So you got McKinney versus like Jevon Hollins. Or Jevon Hollins, Morig. I mean, it's a toss-up. Oh, yeah, people forget that Kyle Duggar was the second safety taken. He had himself a pretty good year. Very quietly. Physical freak, by the way. Like, he is up there, like, metrics-wise with Jeremy Chin. Anyway, Colin Andrist. I hope the Vikings bring in a speed specialist, someone who is out there to stretch the field and make a play every now and then, like Aldrick Robinson, Love a Channel. That's why I'm intrigued by Waddle. And that could actually be a decision. Jalen Waddle at 14. North Texas. Jalen Darden. I keep forgetting the Western Michigan receiver's name. Like, he's a small dude, but he potentially can run the fastest 40. Like, there's a handful of like world class speedsters in this draft, and that does seem like it's something that the Vikings are missing. Just that speed element, that deep 9 route, taking the top off the defense, and just opening things up underneath. Goat Kogi. What would you think if Kadarius Toney fell to the third round, grabbing him? He could fix a return issue and be explosive wide receiver 3. Probably won't get to round 3, but I mean, if the Vikings maneuver to get him in the second round, I wouldn't be upset at all. I think that the Percy Harvin comparisons are there, sort of lazy, but I mean, that's what we do. Because, of course, Florida, because, of course, the Vikings. But yeah, they do like using him a bit in the run game. He's a solid receiver, plus phenomenal as a special teams guy. Like him and Sarah Fuller split special teams player of the week this season. So cool. Braylon McGreevy. Do Vikings have enough cap room to go for a star free agency? They can certainly clear it up. They could cut Barr or restructure Barr or pay cut Barr. Same thing with Reef. They could cut Rudy. They could cut Stefan. Like, they could clear up a lot of cap really quick if they wanted to. Skull SFSD. Absolutely enjoy watching your channel. Skull from Sioux Falls. What up? Obviously, Jefferson had excellent rookie year. Do you think he becomes a true wide receiver 1 in the 2021 season? I think he already is. I think he already is the wide receiver 1, because you look at the way that defenses were shading safeties his direction, as well as he was getting the bulk of the cornerback 1 treatment. Yeah, I think Justin Jefferson is clearly wide receiver 1. I think it started after the bye, because go back and watch the Packers game week 8. Jair Alexander was basically trailing Justin Jefferson. So, yeah, he's already getting that treatment. Tommy Johnson, Skull from Omaha, Nebraska. Love the content. Hey, thank you. Are there any low-cost second-tier wide receiver free agents the Vikings could look at this offseason, or is it Babes stuck in here? Is never just good. All right, let's take a look. Spot Rack, free agent, wide receivers. Do it for the gram. All right, did we do this yesterday, actually? Oh, well, take a look. T.Y. will probably get a decent chunk somewhere. Actually, I think T.Y. is going to go to the Jaguars. Just staying in division. Yes, pop-up ads. Yes, I would like to close you. Thank you. No, I don't want to go to your ad. Why is the X so small? I mean, Will Fuller will probably get paid. That's fine. I mean, John Ross is going to be out there. I advocated for getting John Ross earlier and actually using him as a kick returner, which is so weird, because it is mind-boggling that I like how they list DeAnthony Thomas as a wide receiver. I mean, DeAnthony Thomas coming out of Oregon, like, he was supposed to be the man. He was the Black Mamba. Let's go. Because Oregon had, under Chip Kelly, they had a stretch of really intriguing, like, small running backs running that inside zone read, outside zone read. It was LaMichael James, who I believe was drafted by the Niners. And then it was DeAnthony Thomas. Yeah, DeAnthony Thomas, number 6 for the Ducks. He was a bad man, dude. Yeah. Hollywood's going to get paid. I like David Moore, but not specifically a speed guy. I think he's like 6'4", 6'5". Jaden Mickens, we talked about before. Holland's not a burnt, like, specifically looking for speed. Yeah. Oh, I know. We're not specifically looking for speed. We're looking for value. I mean, Zylstrad's a free agent. Why the hell not? I like Greg Ward a lot more than other people do. Zach Pascal, I actually think might get he's a restricted free agent. Doesn't matter anyway. Oh, we're already in the the RFAs. But I mean, D.D. Westbrook, like, if they think they can handle him, I would take a shot. But yeah. All right, next up is Goat Kogi. 2 non-linemen I would love to see is Waddle and Pitts. Waddle for the big playability and great return skills, and Pitts because of the absolute matchup nightmare. Yeah, absolutely. Because you've seen the matchup problems that the Vikings give out to other teams when they have Irv and Gronklin on the field, running 2 tight ends, or one of the 2 with Rudy. So teams generally will stay in base, especially if they go 22 personnel, where they got Ham and a running back on the field, either Dalvin or Madison or Boone, or Abdullah. And then teams are going to stay in base, and then you can spread it out, because even though you have 2 tight ends on the field in Gronklin and Irv, you can put them in the slot. You can split them out wide. So now you have to cover in base, and you like those matchups. Or if you play nickel, try to play coverage, well, just run the ball. Right? And I mean, Kyle Pitts just exasperates that because he really is basically just a wide receiver. A 6'5", 260-pound wide receiver. Or 240. How heavy is he? That doesn't matter. Zach Ballas. Do you see the newly released unused Office cold open where Jim tricks Dwight and I think it's the Matrix? Hank plays Morpheus. Yeah, it was good, but I can see why they didn't use it because it's kind of long, but I'm sure they would have cut it down. And we're just watching like the director's cut, but yeah. Josh Imps. I like how Peacock is just trying to put out exclusive content because like, hey, please sign up. We're sorry we took it away from Netflix, which everyone had, but please sign up for this Peacock thing. And also so $0, you have to watch some episodes with ads. For a couple of dollars, you can watch most of the episodes with ads. And then for a lot more dollars, you can watch all the episodes with no ads, just like you were able to do on Netflix before. I don't know, Peacock. I don't know. Josh Imset. How do you feel somehow Sean Payton became head coach of the Vikings 2022? No. Although, given that the Wilfs just worship Bill Parcells because they grew up as Giants fans, and obviously we're watching the Super Bowl wins of Parcells and company in the 80s. That's one of the big reasons why Mike Zimmer got the job, because he's a Parcells guy. Gosh, it could probably happen. That's sick. Get the other Parcells guy. Get Belichick. I don't care that he's almost 70. Jake Logevin. How long have you been doing the 4:30 wake up each morning? What got you into that? And how do you get to sleep so early with 2 little kids? I'm just getting into it. Because then you get a lot done. And also towards the end of the day, kind of tired. Plus, it's good that the kids go to sleep early. Dova Kitten. Would you want Everson Griffin back this year? I would want him back, but you have to take away his social media. He would obviously provide a lift on the field as an edge rusher as well as a leader, but I don't know, like him and Kirk Cousins might have to hug it out since he tweeted out that Kirk Cousins' ass. Thank you. Leonard 2006. Fun fact: Anthony Barr is a 99 overall grade in Madden when you place him on the edge. Is that true? Schlars. Do you think Hughes could finally take a leap in 2021? Probably not, but I do want him back as a return guy. Since, teams don't cut dudes on rookie deals, especially high picks. Tommy Johnson, I feel like Joe Thuney's seems outdoorsy. He would probably love a good goose hunt or some shore lunch style pan-fried walleye. I'll get him in here and have Riley Reef show him the great honey holes in this area. I don't know if Riley Reef is really an outdoors guy. He probably is because, he went to Iowa and he's from South Dakota. So odds are, Thuney definitely looks like a guy who enjoys a craft brew or, I don't know, a 30 rack of Busch lattes, as well as getting out. Maybe go pheasant hunting. Be a lot of fun. Probably goes morel hunting in spring. Hey, let us know where you're watching from. We'll give a couple shout-outs. Samson Romaine, OBJ for Thielen straight up. No. A DP, what's a good name / logo for Washington next season? I actually kind of like the way that they are. The Washington football team, it's unique because if they just pick a name like, I don't know, like the Wildcats, like who cares? Or the Red Hawks or the Red Tails would be cool. No, just be the nameless team. That'd be great. Tony Levins. And also, so I have always liked Washington's color scheme with the burgundy and gold. I think it looks pretty sharp. And the jerseys and the logo look good. That's not spelling. Yeah, so I've always been a sap for numbers on the side of helmets. I don't know why. I just think it looks good. But yeah, like this, they're good-looking unis. Good-looking colors. I thought the logo was fine. The jerseys look better once I got Haskins out of it. This is good. That's a good look. Kind of like, it's like Gophers / Central Michigan adjacent. But I think it looks good. Next up is, let's see here. Tony Levins. You should do a series of franchise mode for Madden. I think that'd be entertaining. Probably should. But then I'd have to buy the new Madden. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe. Well, maybe we'll get it. I guess PC. Well, be easy to stream, I guess. Shiver Timbers, I don't know what to expect from Justin Jefferson year 2. Usually you would expect a rookie to make a jump. Yeah, he's going to make a jump. 2K, bay. That's right. A couple shout-outs. Purple Rain Skull from Wausau, Wisconsin. Landon Miller, Montclair, New Jersey. What's up? Alexander Bolton, Skull from St. Paul, representing. Patrick Harms, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Tommy Johnson, Omaha. MR199X, Skull from Toronto, the 6. What's up? Preacher Paul, hauling it for all y'all. Rolling past Fairbow. That's how you know you're from Minnesota, is that you know how to pronounce Fairbow. As opposed Faribault. I'm from Faribault. Or Montevideo. Or Monticello. Or is it Monticello? It really doesn't matter. Pulford Skull, Nashville, Hot Chicken. Gabe Morgan, St. Cloud. Stearns County. Cool. Jack Leno, Ireland, Bagarla. Shane Jensen, Skull from Mankato State University, Community College. Nick Skull from Enola, Pennsylvania. That's not a place. That probably is. All right. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. All right. So let's hear. Chris Danny Hansen. A friend told me that the greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers weren't called for a holding penalty the whole season. Do you believe it? Probably not, but it seems like it. Captain in Janb. How will the Packers utilize Jordan Love? Well, he's going to sit on the bench, and then his rookie deal will expire, and then he'll leave, and then they'll get a third-round compensatory pick. MCS Ganaway. How would you like pay in the first, Twyman, Ardarius, Trey Smith in the third, and receiver later like Daz Newsome? In. Bruce Robinson. The Vikings have a chance on young quarterbacks via trade instead of drafting Sam Darnold, Gardner Minshew, trade for one of those guys. I'm not leaning towards it. Well, if they don't get a quarterback in the first round, I think there's a pretty significant drop-off between the Big Five, and then you have Kyle Trask, and then you kind of have everyone else where it's a grab bag. Because Ritter, I would put Ritter maybe even slightly ahead of Mac Jones, just on the physical upside, even though, yes, he's certainly not as accomplished as Mac Jones. And there's a couple, like you want him to be more consistent with his accuracy and also not take as many chances. But, I mean, the upside with Ritter versus Mac Jones, I mean, it's out of here. And also De'Ara King. No one likes De'Ara King except for me. I still believe in my guy, man. There's just something about, like, he does have a little Doug Flutie in him. Like, Doug Flutie with a much stronger arm. That's De'Ara King. He's just like, I am not going to let you lose. Like, I don't care that I'm like 5'2". Like, we're going to win tonight. Let's hear. Yeah. If they don't take a quarterback in the first round, the quarterback you could potentially get for trading a fourth round pick, whether it be, I don't know, a guy like Easton Stick from the Chargers, or Minshew or Darnold, even though Darnold would probably take a little bit more than that. Yeah, I'll take my chances with that as opposed to just drafting a guy. Cody Kaiser, in odd years, we lost in wildcard, title game, divisional round, Super Bowl loss confirmed next year. Would you sign up for that right now? Because that means that they played well enough to make the playoffs, win playoff games, they get to the Super Bowl. Or you just roll the dice. I don't know. Signing up for a Super Bowl loss seems pretty weak. It does. Plus, that means that Spielman and Zimmer will be here forever. And Cousins. Thorvald Von Johnson. Is it fair to say that Teddy Bridgewater experiment to work out in Carolina? Will he get another opportunity to start with another team? I think if they don't go quarterback at 8, I think he'll get another shot because he's under contract. He's got some decent guaranteed money in his deal for year 2. Yeah, I think that Teddy was pretty underwhelming this season, considering the weapons he has, even though McCaffrey was dinged up through most of the year. Mike Davis was a fine fill-in. And also they had Joe Brady there, but I mean, sometimes it takes time to gel. Right? Luke Neeson. Also, they didn't spend a single draft pick on offense. So, Luke Neeson, what do you think Drew Brees will do about retirement? Go away. Spendini. Would you rather have Feliciano or Thuney in the long run? Well, they're about the same age, right? Feliciano will probably cost like 40% of Thuney. So if cost was not an object, I would take Thuney. But, I mean, since cost is factored in, I'll take Feliciano. Feliciano is like, he gets after it, though. I really like John Feliciano. Luke Zacher, thoughts on trading our first rounder for Quinn Williams? I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat if the Jets would be in. I don't buy that he's on the block, even though technically Joe Douglas didn't draft him. It was a weird setup because Mike McCagnon drafted the 2019 draft, and then they fired him. It's weird. Connor McMullen. Actually, am I right on that? Let me check that out. The most reliable source ever, Wikipedia. Yeah, he's hired on June 7th, so he's after the 2019 draft. So, there you go. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure that's in the hopper of things to talk about. So I have a folder of video ideas, and they're all just like bat bleep insane. See, any updates? Oh, Senior Bowl. Man, Ian Book can do himself some favors at the Senior Bowl. But all right, next up. Connor McMullen, do you think Trey Lance has Hall of Fame potential? I feel like with those physical traits, he definitely has the ceiling. Well, maybe not Hall of Fame. If we're talking about Pro Bowler, certainly. I think that he's not as mobile as Lamar Jackson, but I think that he has a much better arm. He's much more accurate. I think he makes a lot better decisions with the football. And it just really takes time because he's coming from FCS. He's coming from spread option offense, and he really only has 1 year of production. And now it was 2 years ago. So he does have some hurdles, and I think there will be some growing pains. But if you're betting on traits, I mean, it's a hell of a bet. Westworld. There has to be a hidden reason as to why Bieniemy has not given a job other than he's a bad interview. It may be a spot where, I mean, Bieniemy, he's in a good spot. Like, he's offense coordinator of the Chiefs. He's working with Andy Reid. He's got a great offense. He has a great relationship with Patrick Mahomes. And I think that he can afford to be choosy. Like, does anyone ever think about that? Like, maybe Eric Bieniemy is interviewing these teams just as much as they're interviewing him. So maybe like he's had a couple of interviews. He's like, you know what? No, nah. And instead of the formally, I'm taking my name out of the running because I had zero chance of getting this job, which happens with everything. And maybe he's just like, not feeling it. If you're offered to me, I'm not gonna take it. That could be a distinct possibility because I still believe in Eric Bieniemy. I think he's a phenomenal leader of men. I don't care if he's never like officially called plays, right? Because you can get guys that call plays, OC, DC, whatever. But can you be a leader? Can you manage the game? Can you have all these soft skills that it takes to be a head coach, right? Being a head coach involves so much more than just like, well, on 3rd and 8, we're going to call this play. No. MJ the GOAT. If Zach Wilson falls to 12, I would trade Kirk and a 14 to San Francisco. Yes. Do you think we have a trade? No. Chris Danny Hansen. Was this year the last chance? They'll just draft Zach Wilson. Was this year the last chance for the Saints to make a legit Super Bowl run? Yes. The team's going to fall apart. They probably can't even resign Ryan Ramczyk, so they're done. Logan Weiss. Is it pure pipe dream that the Vikings get Rondale Moore? I think 14 is a little bit too rich for him. I think he's probably going to be a 25 to 40 guy, maybe 25 to 50, depending on. Well, since they can't really get medical checks, he may fall. Even though he came back for a couple games this year, looked really good, especially against the Gophers. He missed nearly all of 2019, so his good tape is in 2018. So that's crazy. Leonard, roast the Saints more because I feel like they're only getting started. So there was a really good Sean Payton COVID joke that I ended up cutting because it was really funny, but also I don't know, maybe a little not too PC, but it's whatever. Gavin, maybe we'll include it on the director's cut at the end of the year. Gavin O, would you swap Thielen for Odell? No. Skull Mitzel. Are the Vikings Super Bowl contenders if they sign Joe Thuney, Shelby Harris, draft Rousseau, and Andre Sisco? Yes. Hell, they're probably Super Bowl contenders if they just sign Thuney. Let's be honest here. Connor May of the Packers lose. Yeesh. Anthony Trevino, Trey Hendrickson is going to be a free agent should the Vikings pursue him. He's a little bit older, isn't he? Coming out of Florida Atlantic. No. Justin Goldman. What if we trade Kirk and afford the Steelers for the number 24? I understand that he put up a lot of sack numbers, but if you go back and look at some of his tape, like, yes, he is talented, but is a lot of his production because teams are scheming over towards Cam Jordan, as well as they have a really good defensive tackle. His name escapes me at this moment, but a lot of sacks are puck luck, right? And we've seen it where guys have racked up a huge number of sacks just because of right place, right time. Because, I mean, a lot of it's randomness. So how many sacks are him beating his guy and then getting to the quarterback first? Or how much of it is Cam Jordan or the really good defensive tackle, whose name escapes me at this moment, flushing the quarterback, and then Trey Hendrickson just bear hugs him, right? I actually think that Hendrickson has low pressure numbers to sacks, which is kind of a big tell. So, yeah. That said, some team will probably pay him $50 million a year. Justin Goldman. What if we trade Kirk and afford the Steelers for the number 24 of a pick? With them, I think that would be a good trade for the Steelers. I'm not privy on their cap information off the top of my head, though. But Sam Heckel, Super Bowl winner this year. Bucks over Bills. Ishan Luki. What's your favorite pizza place in the Twin Cities area? I've always been a Black Sheep guy. Yeah, Black Sheep is good. What else? I know that people kind of crap on Pizza Luce, except I always like Pizza Luce as well. So, Red Savoy. Yeah. Shiver Timbers. Chanticleer's Pizza. Yes. I get that the NFL is a business, but Kyle Rudolph is such a good person. He definitely should have won Walter Payton Man of the Year. Has been pretty reliable because he got injured. Do you think there's any way that if the Vikings keep him? Well, like I said in the beginning, it is a business. So if he takes a substantial pay cut, maybe. Jack Benke, Bornicke. Build your dream coaching staff, can be current or former. Who is your dream head coach, OC, and DC? All right, well, let's do current and former. So current, Belichick as head coach. I don't know. Can you have Joe Brady as OC? Even though, yeah, you're just really buying into the hype. Actually, I'll take Doug Peterson as OC since it looks like he's probably going to be stuck there. Defensive coordinator. I don't want to say it. Actually, no, I'm gonna take Wink Martindale. I was gonna say Mike Pettin because I have a lot of respect for Mike Pettin, but screw him. Let's see, former. So dream former staff. So I can get guys when they were assistants, right? So I will take Tom Landry as defensive coordinator because he was DC of the Giants before he got the Cowboys job. So he's DC. You got Bill Walsh as head coach. And actually, no. I'm going to have Bill Walsh as offense coordinator. Screw it. Because that's what he was de facto was it with the Raiders for 1 year, and then, of course, with the Bengals. And then head coach, I will take... God, do you take Chuck Noll or Don Shula? Actually, I'll take Noll because I think he more embodied that a head coach should be a manager, and whereas Don Shula was a defensive coach, and then like he created his own offense. Like he basically pulled a Tom Landry, and towards the end, like he got away from what won the Dolphins multiple Super Bowls is that running game. Because when he got Marino, he was just like a kid with a shiny new toy, and then started throwing it 45 times a game before it was in vogue. So yes, do I just take Andy Reid? No. Actually, Andy Reid has never technically been an offense coordinator anywhere. He was the quarterback's coach under Mike Holmgren before he got the Eagles job. Fun fact. Captain Gila. Supposedly Watson is interested in going to the Saints. It would take a lot of gymnastics since they do have so much dead cap. But Watson, like we said, his base salary for next year is only about $10 million, 10.5 or something like that. So that is doable. They just have to shed 95 more million off their cap. Jacob Sly, I would really like Curtis Samuel as a free agent wide receiver pickup. He might be kind of spendy, though. I do like Curtis Samuel. Pulford Skull, would really like the Vikings switch or lean more on the passing game and draft a really good young wide receiver, even with pick 14. JJ, Irv, Thielen, rookie TBD. That would drive Zimmer insane. But frankly, if he's not on board, if he can't adapt his defense to be one that plays downhill, one that plays with a lead, screw him. Let's just score 50. Brett G. I know you're not a Sean Wade fan, but I saw yesterday Pro Football Network changed the primary position to safety. Do you like Beverly being drafted to safety? Possibly. I don't think he has the physicality to be a strong safety, maybe primarily as a free safety, but he was at his best last year when he was able to work from the slot. Him on the outside, that was no bueno. And then he had a bad year outside all season, and then he calls out Devontae Smith. You don't want that smoke, man. You don't want that. But when he was able to be inside with Akuda on the outside and Arnett on the outside, yeah, it was fine. Pulford Skull, if Reef stays, what will happen with Ezra? I think it just delays Ezra to left tackle for a year. Or maybe Ezra develops enough inside that they're like, okay, maybe this will work. Jack Bornicki, if we end up drafting Jamar Chase or Devontae Smith at 14, do you think it will heat up Thielen trade rumors? No. I think it might give him to take a pay cut or a restructure, but trade now. Mr. Vikings fan, Sean Payton is the most overrated head coach in the NFL. Yeesh. Ruben Barajas, what would you think of the Vikings traded down in the first and then traded for Jalen Hurts for that pick? Nah. I like Jalen Hurts, but nah. Harvey Melber, do you think there's been any discussion with the team and Kirk if he would attempt a trade scenario with another team? I don't know, probably in passing, as Zimmer's knocking back a port or some nice dark red wine like a Cab Sav. Spielman is knocking back dip. Well, Zimmer's knocking back dip too. And then Cousins is knocking back like a skim milk. Maybe 1% if he's feeling frisky and it's the weekend. But yeah, other than that, probably not. Kyle Rippentrop, if you could have decided where US Bank Stadium would have been built, would you have been built it somewhere else or someplace completely different? Now, I think downtown, because you very rarely get downtown stadiums anymore. And I think that's really good, especially when the Minneapolis hosted the Super Bowl, is that you have all the hotels, you have all the transit in one place. It just really sucks when the stadium's out of the way, like Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, like the Cardinal Stadium in Glendale. Cities like Indianapolis is phenomenal because, the stadium is right downtown Lucas Oil Field. That's why one of the big reasons why they kept the Combine in Indianapolis for so long after the RCA Dome. But, yeah, also you look at New Orleans, where garbage team, but the Superdome right in the middle of the city, that is pretty great. But, yeah, I would have kept it where it's built. But if you had to go somewhere else, I wasn't really on board with Arden Hills. It's a hell of a slog. Plus, I get the allure as like, hey, we'll just build a city around it. How often does that really pan out? Gillette Stadium, to a degree, Patriots Place. I would have put it, frankly, by the old Met Stadium, where the Mall of America sits now. So you have the Mall of America, you have IKEA, put US Bank Stadium down there, right along 494. I think you've been okay. Been fine. 44 and 70, 494 and 77. Let's hear. Oh, so one time we had a friend come up from Texas, and they're complaining about the streets in Minnesota. And if you grew up in Minnesota, like, you just get used to it. Where he was so confused because, like, how come all of the roads have three names? And I didn't get it at first, but then I thought about it. I was like, oh yeah, where you look at Cedar Avenue, where it's 77, It's County Road 23. What? It's State Highway 77, I think. It's County Road 23, and it's Cedar Avenue. I can see why that could be confusing. Or states where it's just simplified, like, hey, this is road X. It's kind of nice. But I guess if you grow up around it, it doesn't really phase you. Next up is where are we? Oh, Miles. Who are you picking if somehow Parsons, Pitts, Smith, Pay, and Rousseau are on board, no trade down? I would probably take Micah Parsons. But it sucks that like 7.1 of Barr's 2021 salary fully guarantees on the third day of the new league year, because if none of it was, it'd be like, oh, Parsons, Barr, you're out. Hell, maybe you could trade him. Connor McMullen, most likely scenario where Trey Lance falls out of top 10 into the Vikings' hands. I think it's a possibility. Like if a team prefers the relative safety of Mac Jones, or hell, maybe there's just a run on cornerbacks and maybe Pay and Rousseau both go, because, again, there's only 13 picks before 14, and it's possible. But if he falls out of top 10, I would have strong consideration moving up, especially since the Niners at 12, probably going to be in the quarterback market. Abza Abdi, trade for Lamar Jackson. Nah. Landon Miller. Why did Treadwell struggle so much? I know he wasn't fast, but he had size. Well, Treadwell, Treadwell at Ole Miss had that horrific tibia ankle injury. Even though he came back the next year, had 1,000 yards in the SEC, he wasn't the same. Like, even though speed was never his thing, you could tell he was a little bit hesitant, but he was getting by even in the SEC because he was so talented. And first round pick. And his first year at camp, so 2016, like you could tell that he wasn't 100%. Like he was not 2014 Laquan Treadwell. And then he came in, because when he was coming out of Illinois, he was like the number one wide receiver recruit. He was like the number one recruit in the state of Illinois. Got to Ole Miss. He was the man in the SEC. And then he gets to training camp, and he's still a little bit dinged up. And he's behind a fifth-round pick from Maryland. He's behind a UDFA from Mankato State University Community College. He was behind Cordero. He was behind Jarius Wright. And I think that wore on him. Like, for the first time ever, he was not the guy. And I think that he internalized it. I think that it got inside his head. And I think it just didn't work out. But you saw, I mean, this year with the Falcons, like when he was given some opportunities, he did well. He had 2 touchdown catches. So I think that the change of scenery is good for him. And I wouldn't be shocked if he has like a mini career renaissance. Well, that might be a little too far. But like, I'm trying to think, like Laurent Robinson. Do you remember him? Like fantasy-wise? Maybe. Jake Wheeler. Assuming the anti-fun Minnesota Vikings don't draft a quarterback of the future in round 1, what do you think is most likely picked positionally, given a win-now mentality? Probably offensive line. Yeah, probably Darisaw or Slater if he's there. I think 14 now is a little bit too high for Davis given his injury. Or they could go, I mean, Sam Cosmi is intriguing. Yeah. Minnesota Vikings man 28. Elijah Vera Tucker's 14 might be a little bit rich. How many times will the fraudulent Green Bay Packers turn over the ball? Shiver Timbers, do you think we kept Ngakoue all season? Playoffs, yes. Turn over the ball when they get shellacked by the... I think Rodgers throws a pick 6 to Antoine Winfield. And also, I think that A.J. Dillon turfs one. Spa City, if Pitts fell to 14, would you take him? Yeesh. I'm intrigued by Kyle Pitts, man. Connor May, let's be honest, and you probably feel the same. I want the Packers to just fail and not win. Same with the Bucks. I just had the members. I just hope that the Packers don't win. Anyone else can win. I don't care. Nicholas Riley, double question number 1. Where do you see the ceiling of the Vikings 2021 of the defensive starters coming back? Super Bowl, homeboy. Worth the fight. Realistic trades for the number 2 overall pick, assuming the Jets' new coach staff want to go Sam and trade back. Well, if you're going to roll with Darnold, like barring getting like 3 or 4 ones, or 3 ones and a 2, I'd probably take that. Elijah Alsop, Pitts or Quiddy at 14. Pay, but not by much. Spa City, if you could, would you take the Vikings winning a Super Bowl, but the Packers winning 5 straight Super Bowls? No, I'll take my chances. Jack Bornicki, who's a mid to late round guy you thought for sure would be a star, but end up busting? Might be Greg Childs or Michael Pruitt. Oh, specifically for the Vikings? Let's see here. Let's look back. Vikings draft history. Gonna go back in time. Oh, does James Lynch count? Nah. All right, it's a late round guy I was really in on. I like Danny Isadora. I know a lot of people like Bucky Temujin Hodges, but I mean that certainly wasn't going to work. Yeah, I like Danny Isadora, just never worked out. Let's see here, late round guy. Oh, does Stephon Diggs count? Oh man. I mean, there wasn't any dudes I was like standing on the table for. Like I was excited when they got David Yankee in the 5th because I liked him coming out of Stanford. Oh, when they got Hodges and Maudie, the back-to-back Penn State linebackers, I enjoyed that. I didn't think they were going to be stars, though. I mean, Childs would have been great if he had healthy knees. Just really unfortunate. Oh, Joe Webb. I still contend to this day, if they would have just kept Joe Webb at wide receiver or quarterback, he would have had a chance. But other than that... late round guy I was really in on. Nah, not really. Oh, Chukwura coming out of Wyoming. Patrick Chukwura had a weird career where he ended up in the UFL, and then he had like a resurgent year with Seattle and the Bucks. That's just weird. I like Chukwura because he wore like the dark tinted visor. I feel like that should be mandatory for all middle linebackers. Let's hear. Who's that dude? Michael Parsons falls to 14, cut Barr and let Wilson walk. Yeesh. But you would have to cut Barr before the draft. Like far before the draft. John Brand. Kirk is the type of guy who showers in socks. Thoughts? Is that a thing? I could see that. Lord Adane, trade idea. Cousins and a 4 to Indy for a 2nd, then 14 to Miami for Tua. I don't know if they would do that. But, no. Talking about Indy. But that is it. That is the Daily Jeromes live stream for Tuesday. You guys are the best. Thanks for coming along. Subscribe for Daily Vikings Takes. Check out our roast video of the Saints if you haven't already. It's pretty good. See you tomorrow. Skol.